Hello, this is Hervé from Comic Book Bin, Philly since 2002. Here's the kit bash of Ray Terrill, the Bronze Age Ray, a DC character who's the son of the Golden Age Ray, Happy Terrill. So with the DC Multiverse line by McFarlane, we didn't get any Ray action figures, even though he tends to be a popular character. He's even had his own TV show in the Arrowverse. So he's kind of a popular character, and we haven't seen him in action figure form. And because we have the Black Condor, well, he's a former Quality superhero, Quality Comic superhero. Quality was a company that was purchased by DC Comics later in the 60s or the 1970s. I don't exactly remember when. So they purchased all of the Quality characters, and both Black Condor, which we can see here, and Ray were part of Quality Comics. So usually if you have a Black Condor, you should get a Ray, an Uncle Sam, a Phantom Lady, and so on. But we didn't get that here. So I decided I was going to make my own Ray, kit bash him from a bunch of other parts. It's a very easy recipe, so let's look at it in detail. I like this character, by the way. He's one of the breakouts of the 90s DC Comics. Like I said, he's had his TV show, he's had his own series, cartoon, and so on over the years. He's almost like a top tier DC character, but not always. So let's look at him in further detail with some of my other kit bashes, and obviously the Black Condor, who's kind of a cousin with this character. Creating the Ray is pretty straightforward. This is a DC Multiverse Mr. Terrific action figure. This is, I believe, the platinum or, well, the supposedly, allegedly super rare version of Mr. Terrific, right? So the entire body is Mr. Terrific except for the gloves. I've got a bunch of spare white hands with my DC Multiverse stack. So I don't know exactly whose hands those are. And I don't even believe the two hands are the same. Yes, they are the same, yeah. But I'm using some white hands for the white gloves that the Ray usually sports. The Ray is usually depicted either in all white or all black, and he's got yellow stripes on his thighs usually, and he also wears a black and yellow leather jacket. So as you can see, we've got everything that we need to create a Ray. The body itself, like I mentioned, I didn't change anything except for the wrist, the hands here from some other figure, and obviously the only thing I changed was the head. Now the head is from a Guardian action figure, and it was kind of cheap. So was this Mr. Terrific action figure. Both were cheap. So buying the two of them, combining them together, and you can get a new character. The Guardian head. Guardian is this Silver Age character created by Jack Kirby. He's like a proto Captain America, except more like a city-based Captain America in a sense. And he's got this helmeted kind of Roman type of head with a small crest at the top here, as we can see here. The rays tends to be more pronounced, but it doesn't have to be. So the one with Guardian was good enough for me. I mean, unless I sculpt it myself, where else am I going to get this kind of helmet on a character? But I mean, Ray Terrill has this kind of helmet in most of his depiction. Something similar to that at least. And we can still see his face, kind of his face a bit underneath. He looks young enough because Ray in the comics is pretty young. He's not old. He's kind of almost like a Titan age, a new Titan type of character. Except he usually works with the Justice League or, I guess, the Freedom Fighters. Well, I don't believe he's ever worked with the Freedom Fighters per se, but he's usually more attached to Justice League. And I guess he's the same age group as a Teen Titan, or even a bit younger, definitely younger than Nightwing. So I found everything I needed with this bulk, and the only thing I had to do, I know it's not perfect, I need to clean it up still. The only thing I needed to do was to paint the neckline here with skin tone, because Mr. Terrific's neck is brown, obviously, brown skin tone. So all I had to do is paint this. Now there's several layers and the paint doesn't go well. It kind of chips easily, and I still need to clean up this. But with the coat on, I mean, once it's cleaned up, it shouldn't be a problem. So this is what I've got so far. This is the back view. What I like is that even the feet, even that is yellow. Maybe I could find some yellow hands for him. But one thing also I did find was special effects. I mean, there's a lot of special effects we can use with him. This guy has energy powers, solar energy powers. So you can use a bunch of stuff, either from Street Fighter, Marvel Legend, who knows, other DC Multiverse action figures and so on. You can use a lot of power effect for him if you want. He's kind of like Sunspot from the X-Men in a sense, about the same power set. And obviously he can fly. So like I said, I'm not an expert customizer. So I didn't clean this yet, and I probably should. And I should probably put more layers here, but it chips easily, and it's very difficult, I guess, to paint over black plastic, or even brown plastic, something lighter. And yeah, it does show up easily. There's several layers underneath, and it's still not perfect. As you can see here, the neckline, it's not perfect. You can still see some of the problems. I couldn't find the matching skin tone, obviously. I had to buy a different set of acrylic markers in order to give him the right skin tone. There's no perfect skin tone. There's none. I mean, you have to test, and you have to accept that it's not going to be perfect. I guess it could be perfect, but I would have to maybe paint his face the same color, and then it would match completely. So this is the character, obviously. In terms of the body, like I said, there's no modification except for the paint here, and I changed the hands here. And it's like a whole black body, so it's a good build for a character like the Ray. And obviously he's got the same build as my custom Johnny Quick, who's not perfect either. I've been modifying, changing, adding things over him for a while, but considering we haven't had a mainline Johnny Quick action figure in years, I think this is good enough. I mean, the short here, the red doesn't match the red on the top. I'd have to paint this part too. I will have to remove this eventually, and I didn't clean up everything. Probably have to change the color a bit to a new something. And here is my Johnny Thunder from the JSA. I realized that you could use this buck. This Riddler box can also be used for Jimmy Olsen. I don't believe we've seen a Jimmy Olsen action figure in the DC Multiverse line. And since they're about to die, I mean, by the end of the year, McFarlane will be done with the license. So maybe those figures will be even cheaper once they're no longer considered like current. But I see a lot of Riddlers for sale, cheap enough. I should probably get another one just to create a Jimmy Olsen. I could probably build my Jimmy Olsen using Lightning Lad alternate head, which is red hair. Except the only problem I've got is that just this Jimmy Olsen would be a bit too tall. Jimmy Olsen should be a bit shorter than that. But this is the Ray, and I really like him. I think he's a good figure. He's a good character. He's not the most popular DC character, but I'm glad that I've got him. And he's the kind of character McFarlane could have done easily if they wanted. I mean, the buck is here. As you can see, it's pretty easy to create this character, but they haven't. And by now, it's too late for them to do it. I don't know if the new Mattel line will ever give us a Ray. They had in the past. There was a Ray action figure in the past, but I don't know if that's even one of their priorities. Now, I've always liked the Ray, so here it is for people who would like to get this figure. So obviously the articulation, everything's okay. I didn't change anything, so it's the standard McFarlane action figure articulation. So there's nothing to this. I mean, there's practically nothing. It's almost like a kit bash except for the paint. It's fairly easy to create this figure. Now, I'd like to know if you are also into these kind of characters, like those almost popular characters with potential, but they're not straight A-list or even B-list. I guess you could call him a C-list or even a D-list, but there's a lot of those characters over at DC and Marvel, and it's fun to be able to create them once. I mean, there's so many parts around that we can find easily and paint them, you know, change the characters until you get what you want. Now, like I said, I'm pretty sure the hopes of getting a Ray Terrill action figure is gone. Now, his dad, the Golden Age Ray, is also easy to produce. I've been looking at those yellow Batman, and I could also get him from a Zoom, Professor Zoom action figure. I could probably create something out of it to create the Golden Age Ray. So son and dad would be possible, I'm pretty sure, to have the two of them side by side. That might be a side project. I've thought about it, but I'm not sure if I should. I think this version of the Ray is the one I was introduced, well, not introduced first, but he's the one whose comic I read first in the 90s. Yes, I was one of the guys, one of the readers back then who read that initial comic in 1992. I really liked it. I enjoyed it. It was created by, well, it was drawn by Joe Quesada, of all things, before he became known as one of the Marvel bosses over there. So that was his first job, one of his first job in comics. So this is my version of Ray Terrill Ray, or The Ray, which I believe had a CW kind of mini-series and cartoon type of thing way back, well, almost a decade ago. So you might know him from that TV show. And it's too bad that they haven't done anything with the character. They haven't produced any action figure of this character. He's a popular character. Well, I believe in the last couple of years, they've kind of made him into the LGBT guy in comics. He wasn't when he started, actually. he lost his virginity to Black Canary. Yeah, he lost his virginity to Black Canary in the comics. That was kind of funny. But that part of the history of the character is no longer canon, or it's no longer there. Now he's all gay, but it doesn't matter. So this is my Kid Bash custom Ray Terrill action figure. Let me know what you think of it. If you have any other or better suggestion on how to create this kind of character. And I'm really curious, is this something that you'd like to create or for yourself also? Would even Jimmy Olsen, Johnny Quick, are those guys also of interest to you? Who knows? Let me know. This is Hervé from Comic Book Bin. Fill you in since 2002. Like and subscribe.